Maybe a month ago, I saw an infographic on Reddit that had the most anticipated movies of 2023 broken down by months, and I was shocked at just how creatively bankrupt Hollywood has actually become. I of course can't now find that same infographic, but I did find a pretty similar list on the internet, so I'm going to use that as the basis of this video. But before I do that, I want you to let me know exactly how many prequels, sequels, reboots and remakes you think are on a list of only 33 films down in the comments. Then after we've gone through this list, I'll give you a few films I am actually looking forward to, plus a few that aren't on this list but should be on your radar. So let's go month by month. Apparently, there is nothing at all to look forward to in January. Some might argue there's very little to look forward to in any month, but before I digress too much, let us quickly move on to February. Magic Mike's Last Dance, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Creed 3, 65, Scream 6, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, John Wick Chapter 4, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, Evil Dead Rise is a new Evil Dead movie that they're too embarrassed to tell us about, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Fast 10, The Little Mermaid, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, The Flash, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, The Marvels, Roosevelt, Barbie, Blue Beetle, The Nun 2, an untitled A Quiet Place spin-off, Kraven the Hunter, The Exorcist, Dune Part 2, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Wonka, untitled Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel, The Colour Purple, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So that was a list of 33 films, of which 16 are sequels, 7 are reboots or remakes, 3 are spin-offs, 2 are movies based on real historical characters, 2 are prequels, 1 is a comic book movie, and 2 are original. Of those, though, only 1 is actually a wholly original concept, not based on some other already existing property. Now, no surprise, that movie is actually one of only 4 films I'm genuinely actually looking forward to on this list. Because 65 seems like a film that could be interesting. I like Adam Driver, it's a sci-fi thriller which is definitely my kind of film, and Sam Raimi's producing, so it has a fair bit of pedigree behind it, even if the plot synopsis makes it sound a little bit like a Planet of the Apes knockoff. Oppenheimer and Roosevelt are both historical movies from 2 huge directors, Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese respectively. I like these kinds of historical biographies, and the 2 directors have an interesting, if not flawless, filmography. Dune Part 2 is the sequel to Dune, which is admittedly a reboot, but I really loved the first Dune movie by Denis Villeneuve. I don't think anyone right now is making better sci-fi than he is, which is probably why they consistently bomb at the box office. The only other movie from that list that I'm even remotely intrigued by is Barbie, and not because I think that film will be good. Good lord no, quite the opposite. I think it is going to have the potential to be a true car crash of a film, and that kind of excites me, to be honest. As for other movies you should probably be looking out for, January has Megan, for some strange reason spelt with a 3 instead of an E, a killer child robot horror from Blumhouse, so it has some potential to be decent based on the premise and who is involved. February brings us Cocaine Bear. It's called Cocaine Bear. What other motivation to watch this do you need? It's based on a true story of a bear found dead next to a duffel bag of coke apparently. Did I mention it's called Cocaine Bear? April brings us another historical biography, Chevalier, about the French Caribbean violinist. It also brings us Nick Cage as Dracula in Renfield. It's a Nick Cage film, so it has the potential to be brilliant or quite the opposite. It also has Awkwafina in it, so that tempers my anticipation somewhat, because I find her like nails down a chalkboard. Taika Waititi as Next Goal Wins coming in April too, a comedy and somewhat true story of the American Samoa football team. A pretty interesting cast and premise, along with Waititi behind the camera, has piqued my interest, rounding out a fairly stellar slate for April. We then have to wait until September for the third movie in Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot Whodunit series, when we get a haunting in Venice. I'm always down for a decent murder mystery, and I kind of enjoyed Death on the Nile. Rebel Moon, an original sci-fi film from Zack Snyder, has no release date but is coming in 2023, and looks like it might have a half-decent premise, set in the far-flung reaches of the universe. Although, it also does look like it has Zack Snyder's awful Ayn Randian politics shoved right up the wazoo, so it might be terrible. And that's your lot really for films that I have anywhere enough info about to even mildly look forward to them. Let me know what films you are looking forward to down below, maybe even like this video and subscribe. I'll be back with my normal retrospectives in a couple of weeks once I'm back from New Zealand.